While we are talking about Charlotte, the Queen City, wow, this morning we want to take a look right now at the economic impact of North Carolina's Latino community, including Charlotte's. A groundbreaking new study revealing that Camino, the nonprofit based here in Charlotte, driving nearly $6 billion in economy, in our economic activity across the state of North Carolina. It's amazing. So I want to bring in now Rusty Price, the CEO of Camino, discussing these extraordinary findings. Rusty, thank you for joining us so early this morning. You hit some rain, right?
I did hit rain.
So tell me, Rusty, the almost $6 billion, what do you attribute that to, and what does this mean for the Tar Heel State?
Well, it was an interesting study. We had we actually commissioned the study and reached out to a gentleman who does the economic impact studies for a lot of the sporting events and entertainment that you'll see, like with the Panthers and the Hornets. And we wanted to see how big of an impact what we are doing in the community we serve have in the area. And I've never read an economic impact. It's kind of out of my world. I'm more in the humanities. And when it came back, it was just shocking.
Yeah.
It was $789 million in the metropolitan service area, which is the greater Charlotte area,
okay,
for a year. And then you mentioned $5.89 billion on a state level. And it talks about the direct spending, indirect spending, and induced spending.
Okay.
That is in the group that we serve, related to the activities we do.
And I mean, obviously, it means so much as a growing Latino population in North Carolina. So for those unfamiliar with Camino, how did this start? We talked a little bit off the stream here, but where did this mission start with you? And did you ever see that this impact was going to be so big?
No, it's really, really been an amazing journey. My wife and I, years ago, we were in Charlotte, felt this calling to leave everything and go as missionaries to Cuba, which was this impossible journey because it was a closed country. There were no telecommunications, no flights there. So it was like stepping off into nothing.
Into, time warp.
Right, and we didn't even have internet. We had to go to the library and investigate things. I mean, I'm from the 1900s. I mean, I'm old, right? And but we got there and we had an opportunity, we saw an opportunity to start a nonprofit humanitarian aid organization, and so we did that. And even though I'm a person of faith, Cuba wouldn't work with a religious entity, so we started the nonprofit as just a straightforward nonprofit. It's not a religious entity. We say it's not faith-based, but it's faith-filled, so our faith drives us. But it kind of morphed over the years into what it is today. And through the years, we saw some of the growing community here in Charlotte, and then we were serving them and saw some of the barriers that they were facing and felt compelled to get involved. And now we have this huge array of services, from healthcare to helping start businesses, a research institute, and it's a lot bigger than I had ever dreamed it would be.
I mean, there seems to be a ribbon cutting or some kind of grand ceremony every year or so, which is great because it speaks to the need of this growing population, the largest growing population in Charlotte, if not North Carolina. Now, you said that you cover from health to business and sports, and how is the involvement with say NASCAR and the NFL empower Camino and the work that you do?
Well, we had the great opportunity a few years ago. A friend of mine worked with the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and so we would always reach out to him for collaboration, and we'd do events at the Speedway, and they would reach out to us to try to engage the Latino community. Where during COVID, they eliminated his job, and so he actually came and he works with us now.
Oh,
and so
okay.
we have this insider right into those areas, and the Charlotte FC actually came and built a soccer field at our place, and we worked closely with them. And the sports teams here have always been very gracious, allowing us to give tickets out to the people that we serve.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. The $789 million that we're seeing from Camino's work, how does that ripple through North Carolina then?
Right. So as I had to learn what this economic impact means, The direct spending would be, like if I went to a taco stand, right? And the money I spend at the taco stand would be, I'm buying tacos, that's direct spending out of my pocket to that. And then the taco stand, the indirect spending is the monies that they pay their employees with. And so that dollar has multiplied now and it goes to them. And then the monies they spend to, pay their rent and their housing. So it's kind of a multiplier effect.
Right.
That shows that, and they do this with a lot of the sporting events, right? They'll say, if we bring this tournament to town, the economic impact will be this.
Right.
Which doesn't mean it's the gate sales, but rather the ripple effect in the economy.
Yes.
And so this is the first time this gentleman, Dr. Reagan, has done a study on a nonprofit. Most of his work has been in the entertainment industry. And when we reached out to him, he thought, man, this is really cool. I want to do this. And so he was as surprised as we were to see the deep impact that it has. You think about the health care. It doesn't just relate to the spending, but it also relates to the being able to go to work and not miss work because you're not sick. And being able to keep people out of the emergency room. Those are these added benefits for the kind of work we do.
Let's talk about some of the values that the culture brings, Latinos and Hispanic or Latina X, right? Those values sort of have these intangible translations or contributions to the economy as well.
Jane, you're going to get me all excited.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So obviously I'm not Latino, right?
Right.
I
don't know.
Maybe, right? But I've had the privilege of working with this beautiful community for years, and right now there's seeming like there's this narrative, especially around immigration, that this is a big problem. I actually believe that the Latino community is a big part of the solution. I don't think we should be calling the solution the problem. And the reason I think that, first of all, it's the fastest growing demographic in our country. If you look across the U.S., the average house has 1.4 or 1.7 children per home, which that's not even sustainable as a society. You go out of business if you don't have at least 2.1. It's not even replacement rate for population. Latinos, because of their family values, have 4.3 kids per home. So regardless of whatever happens with immigration right now and deportation, the projections are that the Latino population will become the majority population in 20 years, something like that. And so I think there's fear on both sides, on all sides, a lot of times when you look into the future. But what I've learned is that the vast majority of the Latino immigrant families have these values of faith, family, hard work, resilience. They value education. They're coming here not looking for handouts. They're looking for opportunity. They're starting businesses. They're debt adverse. They work today, save money to buy something. Where a lot of times I'm guilty of, buying it today, paying for it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of our consumer economy. And so if you look at all the indicators throughout all the sectors of the U.S., there's the Latino population are adding great strength. The Bank of America commissioned an economic study on the Latino population.
Oh,
in the
yes.
US.
I think I went to that.
Yeah. And so you look at those numbers, it's like
billions.
Yeah. If you look at the Latino economy in the U.S. as its own GDP, it's the 5th largest GDP in the world, larger than France, larger than Germany, and it's the 3rd fastest growing. And so you look at those indicators. Another thing out of that study said that Latino youth are graduating with bachelor degrees at 120% of any other demographic. So again, I think sometimes we have these lenses that we look at people, and with a lot of the discussion around immigration, it's easy to think, these are all gang members and violent criminals. But that is completely the opposite of what the reality is.
Right.
These are families that are coming, working hard, working to adapt, looking to sacrifice so their kids can go to college. And I think it brings such strength to our communities.
Yeah, thank you for providing that insight. Another way to look at what the current situation is right now with families and just in general, immigrant families and making America what it is. What would you like our viewers, listeners to know about Camino, the work you do, the Latino community? I'm listing a whole bunch of things. What would you like people to know, Rusty, as you...
Well, first of all, I think proximity is powerful, right? I think my life, I grew up in a deep South segregated environment in, the panhandle of Florida. We called it the Redneck Riviera.
I'm from South Florida.
Okay. So it's like my whole worldview was completely changed through proximity, and by able to walking along with families, I see, hey, these guys laugh like I do and cry like I do, and they have dreams like I do, and I think being able to be so close, the Latino community has enriched my life so much. And I see them, and they're willing to risk everything and go through incredible difficulties to try to attain the American dream. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it to give their kids a better life. And I'm convinced that in giving their kids a better life, they're going to give my grandkids a better life. And so I would just encourage everybody to try to, find experiences that you can have in a tangible way, and don't let virtual communication set our paradigm about this community. Take what we observe in day-to-day life, and don't be swayed by political, movements that are trying to make us feel something that we haven't experienced.
It's really the human connection that we should have anyway.
That's right.
Face to face, without any boundaries.
That's right.
As far as the digital and virtual, sometimes protective walls that we might find ourselves behind. Rusty Price, thank you so much for this really great, insightful conversation on Charlotte's community, Latino community, and certainly affecting everyone in North Carolina and the American dream as a whole. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Tengas un buen día.
Muy buen español, Jane. Excelente.
Muy gracias. Muchas gracias. Aprendo, pero necesito aprender más, practicar más.
Así es.
Sí.
Y comer más chile.
Si
come chile, va a borrar el inglés. If you eat chili peppers, it'll erase your.
Is that what it's going to do? I got to learn that trick. Okay. Rusty Price from Camino. They do good work there, so we will continue to help them out, and this is how we support each other.